Guys, let's move on to this upcoming weekend because we're going to close things out by previewing the conference championship games. And we're going to start things off on the AFC side as the top two teams in the conference ended up making it to the championship game. It's a bit of a throwback. We've seen the 2016 trend going on a lot from the year that I graduated from high school. And now we're seeing a bit of a throwback to 2016 when the Broncos and the Patriots played for the AFC Championship in Denver. And we got that happening again as the Broncos, the 1 seed, will be hosting the 2 seed Patriots this upcoming weekend. As we noted, big difference is that the Broncos will be without their starting quarterback. But as Philadelphia legend Nick Foles highlighted on Twitter, the Patriots seem to struggle against backup quarterbacks in championship situations, obviously alluding to him winning the Super Bowl. But now the Patriots are going to be going up against Jarrett Stidham, which, in my opinion, makes the Patriots a favorite. And I'm just going to give my pick. You guys could give a little bit more analysis, but I'm going with the Patriots here. It just seems like it's going to be a tough hill for the Broncos to overcome with Jarrett Stidham as their quarterback. The Broncos have won a lot of close games throughout this season, and it's been because of Bo Nix having late game heroics. Without Bo Nix, I don't know if the Broncos can end up beating this young Patriots team led by Mike Vrabel and Drake May. We talk a lot about Matthew Stafford potentially being the MVP. Drake May is the other name that you throw into that conversation. It's going to be Drake May or Matthew Stafford. That's what a lot of people think, a lot of people smarter than me. And so to basically have the AFC MVP going up against a backup quarterback, I'm taking the Patriots here. And kind of sucks because Patriots fans have been so spoiled over the years. They have 3-4 down years, and now suddenly they have a chance to go back to the Super Bowl again. I'm rolling with New England here because I think it's just going to be too much for Denver to overcome. Kevin, how about you?
If Bo Nix was playing in this game, my pick would be the same. I'm taking the New England Patriots. I know everyone wants to say the schedule's this, the schedule's that. This Broncos defense has holes, and it's been notified. Like, we've seen it throughout the playoffs. We've seen it throughout the regular season. I'm one of the people that said the Broncos even should not even be in this position. I think Brandon Cooks caught it. We saw the same situation with Devontae Adams. They called him down. They didn't call it with the Bengals, or sorry, the Bills. But moving forward, I think the Patriots got this game. I know they're on the road. They've been at home all playoffs. I'm just going with the better quarterback. And yeah, Stidham could do a Nick Foles kind of season. But I with a weak turnaround, I don't think it's going to be able to go. So I'm going to go Patriots. I think Mike Vrabel's going to put a hell of a lot of pressure on him. And it's going to either be, like Shaun said, with Brock Purdy, he's going to run for 400 yards, or he's going to go in there and shut everybody up. I'm willing to bet it's going to be more on the 400-yard side.
All right, Kaz, are you going to make it a clean sweep for New England, or are you going to go with – I can't believe we're saying that the top seed winning on their home field would be an upset, but are you going to go with the Broncos in a potential upset with Jarrett Stidham, or are you going to make it a clean sweep for the panel?
Clean sweep. Yeah,
dramatic pause.
I think because I want to be that guy. I do.
Yeah, I did too. I have family who live in Colorado.
You know
that
what?
Are diehard Broncos
you know what?
fans.
No. I'll take Denver. Let me tell you why.
Okay,
I'm gonna give you a real reason. Like you said about I'm giving your 49ers hell today. Like you said about your 49ers. Y'all find a way to win games. Look at defense is all injured and da. Brock Purdy missing games and blah da. And you find ways to win. So much to where you were almost competing for a 1 seed. Okay. Yeah. And you also on this same podcast today just mentioned from I think Kevin or you, one of the two, but you said the Broncos are always playing from behind. And, and Bo Nix has to play hero ball. So, therefore, they are already used to playing from behind. They're already used to not having Bo Nix show up until the fourth quarter. Who's to say that Jarrett Stidham can't come out there and actually play just as good as Bo Nix has played for just 3 quarters? Just don't turn the ball over. Okay? You got RJ Harvey in the backfield. You got Jaleel McLaughlin. You have a Super Bowl winning head coach. Okay. You have guys on defense. I think that Kevin mentioned that there's some holes, but you still got superstars, aka like Pat Surtain. You got my guy who I love to death when he's in Philadelphia, Alex Singleton. It's a possibility. I don't think that they're a 1 seed because of Bo Nix. I think they're a 1 seed because they're just a gritty team. They're a gritty team. I think they're a team that actually deserves credit for finding ways to win. Now, I'm not trying to discredit you guys too much, but I mean, it's being a 1 seed and, beating a team like Philadelphia in Philly in the middle of the season. I believe that they had other couple good games that they won this year too. I mean, they didn't lose barely any games. And again, it's not like if you look at Bo Nix's stats, he was out here just dropping bombs off. No, they were playing questionable football all season long. But one thing about their questionable football, it wasn't because of terrible quarterback play. They just have a mediocre offense. Nobody is saying that Bo Nix is a top 5, top 10 quarterback. I mean, you can argue top 12 to 15, but I don't think anyone's going to say he's a top 10 quarterback. So why would we carry him or judge him based off of what we know? He's a solid quarterback who at times shows some grit, shows some heart. He can run the ball well, can win you games down the stretch if you give him opportunities. He's a gamer. Okay. Jarrett Stidham, 110%, can go out there and put this Denver team in a position to win as long and only as long as he does not turn the ball over. I think that Sean Payton draws something up to where it makes sense. It's safe. Okay. Cortland Sutton didn't see a single catch until the fourth quarter of that last game. Literally had zero yard. See what I'm saying? And that's their best receiver. Who said Jarrett Stidham can't go out there and just protect the football? And they can find a way to win a hard-fought game at home, crowds loud. It's going to be cold. I'll go ahead and be that guy. I'll take Denver to win. I think that it's going to be a boring game. It's going to be very low scoring, and I think that Sean Payton will find a way to put Jarrett Stidham in the position to succeed as long as he doesn't try to play hero ball. I'll go with Denver.
I absolutely love it. My family who live in Boulder and Louisville, Colorado, who are diehard Broncos fans, if they were listening to this, they would be shaking their head at me and telling me that I'm not repping for the fam. Broncos country, let's ride. Kaz is riding with them. I appreciate you for picking them because someone had to. I was usually the devil's advocate on this podcast, but you just explained great points and a lot of great reasoning. And next week, after the Broncos win, we're going to come back on this podcast and you'll be able to puff your chest out and be like, I was the only one who believed. And the Broncos potentially could be going back to the Super Bowl for the first time since 2015. Now, getting to the other game of Conference Championship weekend, and just for the audio-only listeners, Kevin had to step away as well, and so he'll be back with us next week. So Kaz and I will be closing things out here with this final segment regarding the top seed Seahawks hosting the number 5 seed Los Angeles Rams in an NFC West battle for the conference championship. The winner gets to go to their bitter rivals' home field with a chance to win a championship. And the one thing I wanted to mention, aside from the fact that Kevin on his way out did let me know that he's got the Rams. So there's one pick for the Rams right now. But the other thing I wanted to mention before I hear your pick, Kaz, is we all like to joke about the Cowboys. You look at conference championship appearances since 1997, the Cowboys have 0. Jimmy Garoppolo, on the other hand, the Rams backup quarterback, now has 7. So Jimmy Garoppolo 7, Dallas Cowboys 0 in the last 29 years. It is pretty crazy. So Kevin is going with the Rams. Kaz, who do you got in this matchup of NFC West powerhouses?
I'll take the Rams. I think we saw about as bad as Rams is going to play this season last week in the blistering cold of Chicago. They were mentioning about how Stafford, he doesn't play well in the cold, which this is how you can tell people are casual fans who don't really pay attention to anything, because it's like, dude, he played 3 games in the cold for most of his career. every year when he was in Detroit. Because that was before Minnesota had their new stadium, if I'm not mistaken. And then obviously Chicago and Green Bay is outside. So he's no stranger to the cold. I don't care how many years has passed by. He hasn't been in LA for 10 years. Okay. He was in Detroit not too long ago, guys. All right. On top of that, they have played a couple cold games. Not a lot, but a couple cold games. They're not like the Miami Dolphins where they just completely shit the bed in the cold. They just don't play as well. So I don't foresee Matthew Stafford not playing very well against the Seattle Seahawks team, sniffing a Super Bowl appearance. And my final reason is because who's going to stop Puka Nacua? And I don't know how you guys watch him play the game of football. I'm a player watcher. That dude plays, you know, in basketball, I talk about how like a small guy plays like he's 6'10".
Yeah,
Puka,
Draymond Green.
Yeah, Puka plays like he's Megatron. Like he plays way bigger than what he is. He's always open. He catches everything contested. He's strong as all get out. And he plays very aggressive. I think that them escaping Chicago the way that they did just set them up for a lovely performance in Seattle, taking down one of their division opponents. And I also just believe that it's going to be an offensive dominant game. Seattle does have a really good defense. LA does not have the greatest defense. LA has one of the best offenses, and Seattle's offense is sparky. I don't foresee Seattle's defense just holding Stafford and Puka and Devonta Adams and then Sean McVay, you know, also being an offensive mind. Like, I just think they're going to have a game. Could it be close? Yes, but I think that it's going to be Rams the entire game. Seattle's going to need to have Sam Darnold do what he's not going to be able to do, and that's going to be win a big game like this. So I'm going with the Rams to win and to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and we think back to the last matchup between these teams because the Rams and the Seahawks split their season series. They each won on their own home fields. But Seattle, it took a lot for them to win on their home field as they pulled out a 38-37 win in overtime on Thursday Night Football against the Rams. And Matthew Stafford, as you were mentioning, Kaz, he proved in Chicago, a place that he used to play once a year, that he's no stranger to the cold weather, as you had mentioned. And now he's going to be playing in the cold weather again. May not be as cold as Chicago was, but nevertheless, Seattle can turn a dime real quick, and it can get really cold up there very fast. And you look back on that most recent game, which was from about a month ago or so, Matthew Stafford, he absolutely lit it up. He completed 29 of 49 passes for 457 yards and 3 touchdowns. And as you had mentioned regarding Puka Nacua, in that game, 12 receptions for 225 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. If the Rams cannot, or excuse me, if the Seahawks cannot stop that connection, then they are simply going to lose this game. And that's why you highlighted that connection as the reason why the Rams will win this game. And you even look back on that game in Seattle, and Kenneth Walker, he had 11 carries for 100 yards and a touchdown. He's going to be relied upon much more in this game with Zach Charbonnet out with a torn ACL. Zach Charbonnet, you look at his contributions in that game, 9 carries for 32 yards and a touchdown. So now all that production is going to have to come from Kenneth Walker. But my guy Jackson Smith and Jigba from the Ohio State University, I'm going to turn around the hat just for the sake of argument. I have hated seeing JSN on the Seattle Seahawks as a 49ers fan, but he has emerged this season as arguably a top 5, if not top 3 wide receiver in the NFL. The only other guy who could really make an argument, at least from this season, is Puka Nacua, as you were alluding to. And I don't feel this way just because the 49ers just got absolutely worked by the Seahawks, but I genuinely believe on the back of their defense, the Seahawks will get back to the Super Bowl, and I'm going to pick the Seahawks to win this game. It's not going to be a 38-37 shootout. If anything, it's going to be 24-23. That's probably the most points that I think will be scored in this game because we saw the Rams were in a dogfight in Chicago, and it was pretty low scoring for most of the game. The weather factored into that, but I think that Seattle's defense is just humming. the thing that Kyle, who's in our Stats Over Politics group chat, he's a Seahawks fan. He's taken $40 from me over the last 3 weeks. And the thing that he kept saying going into that Week 18 game, but then also afterwards, is that this Seahawks team is not the same as they were earlier in the season. They're not even the same team as they were a month ago. And so I'm going with Seattle to continue rolling. And I talked about during my rant about the 49ers that this is the team that I hate the most in all of sports. But I always try to be a realist. I always try to be objective on this podcast. And to me, the Seahawks are rolling. The Rams escaped the Bears. And so I'm picking Seattle to win this matchup on the strength of their defense. Sam Darnold will have to play mistake-free football, I believe, as you mentioned. And if he can do that, then Seattle will win this game because of their defense. And I got the Seahawks going back to the Super Bowl. And if my predictions are correct, then we'll end up seeing a Super Bowl rematch, I believe, of what was Super Bowl 49 between the Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots. If that's the case, I'm rooting for the Patriots to beat the Seahawks again in the Super Bowl because we know how I am when it comes to the Seattle Seahawks.